Hi, welcome back. How you doing? Okay, so let's make a new working noodle. So, save as. This will be our working noodle 3. Shouldn't take too long to save. Okay, and as you can see, so far all we have is this bloody great big gun in our file. So let's just click play from here. You can see it's quite a size, and the ball now bounces off it because we set up a simple collision mesh. Lighting will need to be rebuilt because we don't have any lighting, but apart from that, we're good. So hit escape. And we're back in. I'll talk about some of the things that are in here a bit soon, but not right now. I've got some stuff to do. Okay, so creating the material. So if I just click on Materials Cannon, and double click on this, and I'm going to make it nice and large so we can kind of see what we're doing. We've got our preview cannon anyway in the corner here, which we can increase in size should we so need. So I'll just drag that round. I can turn off the grid as well. Okay, and this is our cannon material. So what I need to do is start bringing across our actual textures, of which we have a few. So let's start with our low normal diffuse map, which is here. Okay, so we just load in that texture sample there. And what we want to do is, we can just take our texture sample and slap it onto our base color, like so, and you'll see that, you know, this is done. Basically, we have a very simple textured weapon. And if I just was to click save here, and then just minimize that for a few, and if I just open up our cannon, just in our props cannon, double click on it, go into our cannon material here, I can just assign it like so and just click save. Remember, I'm using an older version, so the smoothing groups aren't in, but you see we have our very simple cannon. It's in. Okay, it's in our game. It's looking nice. You know, it's got the prerequisite scratches and kind of detail that we want. But there's no real detail to it, except what we've kind of drawn on it. There's no normal maps or anything. And we don't have any control over how bright our diffuse texture is or anything like that. So, let's load up our cannon material again. Now, if we want to get some control over that, what we need to do is right-click, and we can add a couple of useful things to this. So, for example, perhaps a constant. Right click constant, and perhaps just double click on that. There we go, and we've got a value in here which is normally between 0 and 1. And then over here we need to add, if I just right click, should be able to break this link here. There we go, put that over there. Then I can add something in between this that will mix these two together, because at the minute this can only be black or white. So if I was just to apply this straight over to the base color, at the minute it's dark. And if I was to go in here and then change it to 1, it's white. That's it, okay? But, break link, right click. If I was to apply a simple mix to this, and we can just even just type it in and kind of get it that way if we want to, just find anything in that way. And what we're going to do is, not a mix, always get them mixed up, we're going to go for a multiply. So if you just type in multi, okay, you'll find multiply there. And what that allows us to do is multiply texture A by texture B, and that will control just how bright our textures are going to be. So if I put A in there and then B in there, and I can just zoom in a bit on this so you can kind of see it a bit better. Hang on, let's try and get it a bit more viewed. There we are. Okay, and then I drag this off to our base color. And now you'll see that we have this, okay, it's nice and bright, but if I go in here, I can bring down the colour on it. So I can make it much darker or lighter, depending on how I feel. So at the minute, let's make it 0.75, okay, so quite bright, but not too bright. And what else can we do here? Well, let's move that up to there, that up to there, and then they're nice and tidy, okay? So we know that that's our multiply, and that here is our constant. So what about if we want to put in a specular? Well, let's go down here again to our textures, and you can see that we have a specular here, and this is going to be tremendously useful. So I just drag in our specular, and if I click this, right click, and duplicate, you'll see that we now have these like this, and I can just feed it straight in. Same value as before, and I can just feed it straight into the specular there. Okay, and you can see kind of the specular's picking up on it. It'll pick up better once we've got the normal in, and we can adjust our specular obviously using this. So let's grab a normal now, and I'm just going to pull back a little bit more. Okay, and duplicate. Gives us way more control over it, and this is a very simple way of doing it as well. So here we go, and I'll just put that up there onto there, like so. Okay, and I'll just drag that over here to my normal, and you should see it start to appear over here, like that. Okay, certainly starting to get there, I think. And again, we have much less control over this. Oh no, sorry, it didn't link there. Let's do that again. I was just thinking that didn't do much, did it? Now it did. That's much better. Okay, so we're starting to get all this in. We could also make some roughness using our height map. So if I just drag in our height map here, and again, same as before, just duplicate these. It's just Control W, by the way. And we haven't done any real tuning to this yet. I'm just using our height map though, like I say, as a roughness, or I can use it as a metallic map if I wanted to as well. I think I might use a copy of the specular as a metallic map. So I'm going to drop that into roughness, and then I'm going to move these over here so I can basically see where this comes in. It makes it easier if I can see it. So we've got 64 instructions so far, and as you can see we're getting some nice shine going on here and all sorts of good things. We can reduce our specular maybe to about 0.45, and you'll see that calculates it, drops it on here. There we go. It's a shame our thing, like I say, doesn't have the right smoothing groups on this, but I'm sure you will have the right smoothing groups, and at the minute I'm showing you how to put stuff together, so stop moaning. Okay, next thing I need to do then is a nice metallic, for which I'm going to grab this, this and this, which is our specular, and just do a Control W just to copy them completely. They're already pre-linked to each other, so that's not a problem. And then what I can do is change this to a much darker constant, and then I can pour that into our metallic, and then we'll start to get our reflections and our metal start to come through nicely. And remember, it's completely customizable through this. If I just 0.9, you can see that it gets a lot more shiny. So again, it's all down to a mix. So I'm going to drop that down to about 0.55 for the minute. Okay, and then our ambient occlusion. So just going to grab our ambient, which will be sitting down here, and I'm going to give it its friends. This is the most basic kind of material building you can do, but it damn well works, you know. We haven't even got into complicated maths functions yet, and we're not going to today, so you'll be pleased about that. Okay, so I'll just drop that across to there, drop our ambient occlusion into here, pull back a bit, there we go, and then I can click save. Now the good thing about that is that our material that we've just created, I like that, toggle real-time update of the graph canvas. Isn't that beautiful? That's just if like there's actions happening and stuff. Should have been converted across to our gun, and has been. So now you will see that we have this dirty gun sitting in our level. So now if I was to do a quick build, change my lighting quality to preview only, and just build my lighting, just give it a minute. It does not take long. Well, it might take long, it depends. It's got to start the swarm system, you know. Shouldn't take long after that. Meantime, we can all look out the window and imagine to be butterflies. Okay, it's exporting the lighting data. Remember, we made that second lighting channel just so we could be able to calculate our shadows. Without this, we won't get any. It's all two-sided anyway, so we're fairly safe in that respect. We've got some slight UV overlap here. We can enable colouring to visualise, but I'm not going to. Right, so we go to play from here. Again, you can see that our smoothing groups are not well represented here, but don't worry. Like I said, we'll probably come back to that. And the model's a little bit large, and it's a bit dark in places, but again, we shall sort that out. Okay, so with this in our scene, I'm going to show you how to use the very basic stuff that comes in UDK just to make it look a bit more pretty. So we'll do that in the next noodle, and until then, TTFN.